Ah, the video game release roller coaster. At one point you're riding high and looking forward to a new release, and the next it's been cancelled, even though it would have made a fortune for all involved if it had come out, and then you're just left to lick your wounds like some cat. And you're not a cat. I know there was a time when you questioned whether you were actually one, but I can safely say you're not. Unless, of course, you are literally a cat. But if you are, you can't understand me because you're a cat, and cats don't have that capability. And if you are a cat with that capability, for goodness sake, go and market yourself, because you're about to make a ton of cash. You're one of a kind. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is 10 reasons you're not a cat. No, wait. 10 cancelled video games that would have made millions. Number 10, Time Splitters 4. Sometimes when a popular franchise does vanish into dust, deep down you know it's for the best, and while fans will bleat on that a sequel would have done the business, that's probably not true. That wasn't the case with Time Splitters 4. Although it got left behind very quickly after it didn't capitalise on the want for another one, there was a time where people were desperate for another in this series, especially because the first 3 had been so good. Time Splitters 2, for example, genuinely shook up the whole FPS template in many ways. It died a death when developer Free Radical got bought out by Crytek, and now that whole situation is just a mess, which means Time Splitters is gone forever. And that is a shame, because 10 years or so ago, it would have probably made a mint. Number 9, 6 Days in Fallujah. 6 Days in Fallujah, which no doubt you've utterly forgotten about today, did sound intriguing. A lot can happen in 6 days, as Craig David once told us, especially within the realms of a third-person shooter, and this cancelled title from Atomic Games promised to take that concept and make it work within the confines of the situation in Iraq. Because of that idea, it did attract a lot of attention in 2009. Back then we didn't get current wars in our video games, as ridiculous as that seems now. The focus here seemed to be it was going to take the hyper-realistic approach too, right up to the fact that it actually wanted to be called the most realistic war game ever made. But then Konami suspended production on it, and that was that. It's not coming back now, because why would it? And given how ahead of the curve it was, there's every chance it would have been a huge success if it had come out when it was meant to. Number 8, Dirty Harry. Yeah, of course. Take a movie everyone is a fan of and make a game out of it, especially because Dirty Harry loves shooting people, and that's all games do. That's why there was no surprise when developer Collective did announce it was working on a digital version of Clint Eastwood's monster hit back in 2007. The problem was, you do actually have to finish video games, and that seemingly never happened right up to the point it was shelved. Why that went down I don't know, because all the hard work had been done, e.g. Eastwood had lent his likeness and his voice to it. The only line we ever got out of the studio was that Dirty Harry was troubled. And being troubled is bad. Number 7, Star Wars 1313. Now this really did suck, because Star Wars 1313 looked awesome at first, plus it's Star Wars, so it would have made all the money. I do not get why this vanished forever. For starters, it was going to be a very dark tale on George Lucas's creation, and that's always good. You were going to apparently play Boba Fett or a similar bounty hunter and discover the seedy underworld of a galaxy far, far away. And then Disney rolled into town. While it did wonders for the film franchise, Mickey Mouse's first decision game-wise was to close down LucasArts, who were making this. If you still can't figure it out, people can't make a game if the studio no longer exists. It's basically the major thing you need. It ain't happening now either, as EA has basically taken over everything here. What a shame. Number 6, Halo Chronicles. I mean, it's Halo, right? So if you release anything associated with it, the money just comes falling from the sky. People love Halo, but what people don't like is raining money. That stuff can kill you, man. Be careful. Anyway, that's why it was so strange when Bungie abandoned Halo Chronicles, a game that at the time was described as the filmiest of the Halo games. Which is terrible English, by the way. We didn't know much about it other than it would have kind of been like an interactive film, and it was actually going to tie into the Halo movie. We never got either though, and now you'd have to say that ship has sailed. Is Halo as big today as it was then? I don't think so, and I'm everything. Number 5, The Dark Knight. Fun fact, I am such a Batman shill, I even enjoyed the Batman Begins game, which was without a doubt rubbish. So stick that up your Batarang. There was meant to be a follow-up to this too, as Pandemic Studios had been given the keys to the Bat Castle following the release of Christopher Nolan's second Caped Crusader movie, and just told, make this great. Gary Oldman was going to lend his voice to it, and there was even going to be a cool gliding system integrated into proceedings too. It got announced properly in 2008, and disappeared. When you remember that the Dark Knight film made all the cash, this was probably a huge mistake by all involved. Would have raked it in. Number 4, Agent. There's actually a small chance Agent still exists, given how coy Rockstar are about it, and it would rock too. A 70s inspired Bond spoof by the GTA masters sounds like an awesome deal. Given that it has been hanging around for about 674,897 years though, you gotta start thinking this one may have gone the way of the, I don't know, something that's dead. The dodo, that's dead. Agent is a dodo. There are glimpses of hope, like in 2013 when Sony from nowhere just said Agent was a PS4 exclusive, but again, we're now in 2017 and we still don't know. It's Rockstar and a cool idea, so it would make millions no doubt. Just imagine they're too busy on other projects now. Number 3, The Lord of the Rings, The White Council. Right, straight up, damn right this was cancelled. What a racist name for a video game. Unbelievable. This wouldn't have flown in 2007, let alone today. With that said, The Lord of the Rings is huge business regardless, so why EA cancelled this around a decade ago is very strange, because it did sound good. It was going to tie into the Peter Jackson movies and be a huge open world that let you rock around Middle-earth like you were the man. Even though you wouldn't have been the man, you would have been a flippin' hobbit or an elf. Jeez, how disappointing is that? Have you seen a hobbit? They don't even wear shoes. What is this? Kids' Corner? No wonder it was canned. Number 2, Fallout Online. Now we have got the Elder Scrolls Online, so I'd never rule out something similar happening for Fallout, but it was attempted before and then cancelled. The reason at the time was mostly legal disputes, because Bethesda, who owned Fallout, didn't want Interplay, the developer charged with creating Fallout Online, to make too many references to the Fallout universe. And yes, that is as weird as it sounds. That's like asking DC to make a Superman movie, but you're not allowed to call him Superman, so he just gets dubbed Great Brother or something. It's an awful name for a superhero. Again though, the MMORPG market is still buzzing, and Fallout is Fallout, so one day, this project may get put back on track. Number 1, Prey 2. Or Prey 2, if you want to get serious about this. No, hang on. It was just called Prey 2. This is awkward, isn't it? And just confusing in 2017. I mean, what is the original Prey 2 these days? Because this year we also got Prey, but that was in fact Prey 2 if we follow the timeline, but then there was also Prey from 2006 as well. The hell is going on? Smart people are paid good money to sort this out, and yet here I am trying to explain why Prey 2, serious about this, which at one point was a sequel that Bethesda first announced in 2011, is separate from the rest of this hokum. It did happen though before it got trapped in development hell, cancelled, and that prompted everyone involved to shift development over to Arcane Studios so they could make what is now known as Prey. You could argue that Prey 2 would have done wonderfully, however, because there was so much buzz around it at the time. Hence why we have to get serious about Prey. Because look what happens when we don't. We get lost in a confangled mess of lies that threatens to tear us all apart. And you know who would hate that? That's right, Michael Jackson. Heal the world, friends. Heal the world. Know of any other cancelled video games that would have made millions? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. You can even go read more articles on whatculture.com, and if you're a cat, make sure you get in touch so we can go make our millions together. My name is Simon from What Culture, and yes, that was one hell of a weird list.
Hello, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. These people down here made it happen, so go them. Well done them. If you're watching on a device that doesn't allow video cards, there aren't many of those anymore, then you'll be able to see Ben there instead.
Hey!
But otherwise, you can click those and watch another video.
Click on my general body area.